Hey there, it's been a while since I did a portrait retouch, so today's video is going to be all about retouching this portrait that I took of Jolie, and I'm going to take you into Photoshop, and using actions that you can get on my website, I will go through and I will retouch this image from start to finish. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of this image, so I can come in and I can just do duplicate layer and I can turn that off, so that's safe there. Now I am using a Huon Key Dial Mini and a Huon Canvas 16 Pro tablet, so I will just go through, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some cleanup to start with. So just using either the healing tool or you can use the remove tool, I'm going to go through and clean up some of the flyaway hairs. Switched over to the remove tool, which is relatively new. It's been around for a little while now, but it really is a fabulous tool in Photoshop. So I am just going through and doing one at a time, and then I just hit enter. And it can quite often do quite a good job cleaning up. Okay, so once I've gone and done all the flyaways, I can then come through and do any retouching that I need to do on the skin. There's a little bit of shine here. I'm just going to deal with that a bit later. Zooming in is often a little bit easier to deal with. There's just a couple of little blemishes that I want to get rid of. In general, Jolie's skin is really good, so there's not too much that I need to do. And I'm just doing that with the remove tool. Okay, so I'm also going to come in with the patch tool, and I'm just going to clean up some of these shiny spots just by sort of marking over them. Just using that tool, I'm just going to go through and just sort of get rid of some of that shine. I'm going to deselect that now with the lasso tool. I'm going to try the generative fill to see if it can fix it. Okay, so I didn't do a very good job. I'm just going to reduce that layer just a little bit. So I'm hoping that that will help soften it up, but I can fix it up when I get further along. Okay, so now I've done some basic adjustments. What I'm going to do, just zooming back out to full screen. Now there's some more that I could do on her body, but at the moment I'm just going to concentrate on the face. There's not too much that I want to fix up there anyway. I might just, while I'm here, just quickly do this little freckle, which is just a little bit distracting. It's up to you how much that you want to remove moles and freckles and things like that. I think blemishes like pimples and things like that should be removed. I don't know if any of us really want to be punished for having a bad skin day. And if there's any little cuts or scars or anything like that, I'll get rid of those as well. If I wanted to get rid of the tattoos, I could do that. So I could come in with the lasso and go outside the area you want to remove. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that background. I'm going to go into generative fill and I'm going to ask it to remove the tattoo. Now you're going to get 3 different options that you can have a look at and play with. Number 1's probably the best variation, so I'm just going to get rid of the others because they will take up some memory. Now, I don't necessarily have to remove the tattoo. I was just showing you how you can do it, so I'm just going to turn that off for the moment. Now, what you will need to do before jumping in to use the actions, and I've got quite a few actions in the portrait action pack. So there is skin retouch, eye color, highlights, teeth whitening, dodge and burn. There's quite a few in there that you can play with, but what you will need to do is you will need to make sure that the layer that you're working on is called background. Before I jump into showing you how I use the actions, I'll just mention it on my website. So if you just go to juliepowellphoto.com, if you go into the store and go to Photoshop actions, you will see a few different actions, and then you've got Photoshop portrait retouching actions, and they're only $5. So it really does help me a huge amount. And there's instructions on how to use it and all the rest of it on there as well. So jumping back in here, if I go to actions, now if you haven't got your actions panel up, just go to Windows and just go actions, or hit Alt F9 if you're on Windows, and that'll bring your actions up. As I said, make sure that the layer that you're working on is called background, and then you can start going through. Now the portrait setup, what that does, it duplicates your base layer. So I'm just going to skip that. I'm going to go to skin retouch. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit play, and that goes through. Now a little thing comes up and it says select your median blur. Now this is how much blur your skin will have, and you can see it there. You don't panic if it looks just a little bit funky, but what you want to do is you still want to be able to see that there is a definite color change between, say, the lips and the skin. So that's probably a little too much. So I'm going to set it at 15. It depends on how big your image is. So I'm just going to click OK. It's done that. Now it comes up to the next part, which is select the amount of high pass. And it recommends between 1.5 and 3 maximum. So I'm going to hit continue, and I'm going to drop it down to 1.5. I want to be able to see some of the details, maybe even 1.7, but I don't want any of the color. So no, I'm going to go back to 1.5. And I'm going to click OK. Now it says open the folder and brush on each layer mask with white to reveal the amount of blur and detail on each level. Then drop the opacity for each layer as required, example 30%. So what I'm going to do is open that folder. I'm going to go into the blur layer. I'm going to get a soft white brush. So I want hardness at 100 and drop my brush size down a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint on that layer. Now, yes, it is way too strong. That's okay. I'm just going to come through here. Okay, so that's the blur done. Now I'm going to go into the detail, and I'm going to do some on the jewelry as well. Her lips, a little bit around her nose, and in particular around her eyes. Okay, so now I'm going to drop each of those to about 30%, or you can just click on that folder and drop that folder down. So that was at 100% and that's at 30%. So it's much softer, much nicer. That's without and that's with. So I've still got skin detail, I've still got skin color, I've got great things, you know, around her eyes, her hair, everything there is still great. Now, I don't necessarily want to change her eye color, but I do want to pop in some highlights. So I'm just going to hit play. And what I'm going to do with a soft white brush again, just on the black mask. I'm just going to paint in some highlights. Now, if I had teeth whitening or dodge and burn, if I wanted to blur the background, I can put a subtle S-curve. Just going to take that to the top of my stack. If I wanted to do vintage tones, I want to change the color of her outfit or anything like that, nails, if I wanted to brightness stop, or there's so much you can do in there, and that's without the S-curve. And again, most of these are too strong, and what you need to do is bring them down a bit. Now, if I wanted to do a stamp merge, Control Alt Shift and E, and that's going to merge everything up onto its own layer. I can then take it into other programs like DxO, or if I wanted to go into alien skin exposure and things like that, I can do that from there as well. And I really like this Fuji Pro 160, so that's before and that's after. And I'm probably just going to drop that down a little bit. So that's it. So this is the image that I started with, and that's the final image. So if you do want to have a play around with the actions, don't forget you can jump on my website and grab them. If you want to dive deeper into playing with retouching portraits, I have a self-paced online class, which is the Photoshop series. Now, I will admit that this is using an older version of Photoshop, but everything that is included will definitely work on the newer versions of Photoshop, but things like the AI tools are not covered. But I go back to basics on basic skin cleanup, matching skin tones, adjusting or recoloring hair, makeup, clothes, using the liquify tool, more skin retouching, and there's all sorts of things in there. That also includes that retouching actions pack for free in that class as well. So if you're interested in learning more about retouching, maybe check out that class and I'll put the link below. So that's it from me for this week. I will pop links below for the actions and for the class as well. But if you like this video and you found it helpful, don't forget to give it a like, maybe a thumbs up, even subscribe, and I will see you next time on YouTube. Bye.